Welcome to Wisdom Exchange TV. My name is Suzanne F Stevens, Chief Edge Optimizer for the Ignite Excellence Group of Initiatives. Today, we are in Cape Town with a leading lady in business, a social entrepreneur, Gia Whitehead. She's Sustainable Director and Founder of Tertiary School in Business Administration. It is an absolute pleasure. We welcome you as our next leading lady. So what was the catalyst for this institution?
I think it was just around creating a sense of hope and creating access to tertiary education so that we can ignite opportunity and grow South Africa's future leaders and entrepreneurs. It was just really, I think, synchronicity of people coming together, wanting to make a difference and having that vision to really make sure that we can create people that are job creators and not job seekers.
Where did you come from before you started?
So I'm originally from Johannesburg. I was involved in, I was doing IT and then wanted to really look at entrepreneurship and start up something on my own. And was involved in a similar initiative in Johannesburg, just really seeing how we can provide education and providing skills to people focused around leadership, and then wanted to create something like this in Cape Town.
Also very important, sometimes you may not have the history, but you have desire.
Absolutely.
And desires, you've received accolades because of that desire. And, you know, I love the fact that your vision is Ignite opportunity, and obviously Ignite's close to my heart. Your mission is to be an innovative learning community that graduates and entrepreneurial leaders who ignite opportunity and social change. How do you do that? How do you instill that in your curriculum and as an institution?
So we're the only institution that has those sort of subjects, entrepreneurship, leadership, personal and self-development, as credit-bearing subjects. And so we build it in and a strong focus. It's not only about knowledge, but it's about bringing in skills, experiential learning. And at the center, it's around attitude. And attitude is bringing in values throughout the years and throughout the curriculum that students report and reflect on. That's just as important as doing the academic subjects. And so it's around creating this culture of thinking creatively, innovatively, wanting to start up businesses and nurture them and grow them in a supported model where students are encouraged to fly and to strive and to develop what they already maybe have inside them, but just need that support to get there. And strong focus is also around paying it forward. So there's this philosophy that if it's free for you, you need to give it back to other people, and that's creating a sense of social responsibility as a core value. And there is a big community on campus, so the students, this is home to them. They feel like they go back to where they live, but when they come here, they're coming home. So it's creating a community of people that want to ignite opportunity and social change, both the students, through the people that mentor and lecture here, and through the entrepreneurs that grow.
I want to give everyone a hug. You know, the pay it forward is you know, I love the pay it forward concept. How do you ensure that your students pay it forward?
Well, there's no contractual agreement that students have to pay anything in terms of financial, but they do, as part of their leadership curriculum, have to be involved on campus and in their communities, and they get what we call leadership hours. So they're part of the program, it's credit bearing and recognized. So that's one way to start off that expectation, but it actually becomes just part of the culture, and you find that students are hungry for the opportunity to learn and grow, and they see the value of other people giving back and mentoring and teaching them and showing them what it's like, you know, to be supported. And so it's something that's instilled and ingrained in our students from day one. And over time we now have students who have paid back for another student to study, so we can see that it's working. And we have over 62% of our graduates actually pay it forward, whether they're lecturing or mentoring here on campus or helping in high schools or communities, and that they've already left. So we can see that it's happening outside of the campus.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Now, that would probably make your students and your graduates quite unique.
Absolutely.
What else makes your graduates unique?
As mentioned, we speak about that leadership and then that entrepreneurship built in, and the attitude. So at the end of the day, our students can see the bigger picture. They're system savvy. They see how it integrates as a whole, and a strong sense of where they come from, who they are, and where they're going through career management that happens here, and also through experience. So we have access to networks. Students work in companies while they're here, so they're building up and becoming business ready while they're here, not once they've graduated. And so the students really engage, can hit the ground running as they leave, and have that, as I said, sense of social responsibility too. So there is that uniqueness. It's something about the TSiBA spirit, and we have corporates saying to us, we want to employ a TSiBA graduate because of those qualities.
So where would you think some of the other universities then fall short?
We work closely with other universities, and they admit that they're too coarse-grained. They take hundreds of students and focusing on the academic knowledge. And so we take smaller numbers, we focus one-on-one, we provide support, also psychological support, and deal with a lot of social issues, as well as trying to bridge gaps. So we're taking in a target market of students who didn't have maths in their previous schools, or they didn't have that support structure, and they're first generation university goers. They don't have parents who have walked that road before. And so we provide mentors to help the students to understand the path that they're going, and to have someone in their corner. So other universities, unfortunately, are just too big to catch those students that are the ones that need to be supported.
See, one thing I'm loving what I'm hearing you say, and based on my experience of being in Africa for the last couple of years, and actually trying to hire, and people showing up with the expectation of being hired because they have a degree, yet have no experience or understanding. And I'm not talking young people, I'm talking over 30 to 50, where there's this expectation, I have a degree, hire me. And I'm like, but you don't have experience. What do you do at your school to help bridge that experience gap?
So in the classroom, career management is a subject where we first get students to understand what they're passionate about, how to build up their CVs, how to communicate and be presentable. But then they go on internships and work in companies every year. First it's about work shadowing, up to in their final year where they actually do something called an industry practical project, where they spend 6 months in a company working on a research project. And that's a way in which they can get to know the business, the companies can get to know them, and so they build those relationships. Also, a lot of our lecturers come from business, so we're not just bringing in academics, we're bringing in lecturers who have that business expertise, and the students can really learn from them as to what's really happening out there in the real world. It's just around having the mindset of thinking creatively, innovatively, being proactive, and those skills and values that are brought in, that we realize when we look at what skills and competencies are needed out there, how can we build that back into the curriculum? So when we're designing the curriculum, we look at what we call a competency map and make sure that it matches. So we're not just here to give knowledge because we think that's what's needed. We go out there and find out what is really needed to build in.
As we have an audience of African women listening to this and people who want to get into education, you're saying a lot of really core messages about relevancy to the market, to the individual, to how to be employable, which seems to be a gap in a lot of African countries that I've had the pleasure of visiting, is how to make somebody marketable and applicable to the marketplace. Now, when those students are working for organizations, do they get paid?
No, so it's part of the requirements for their degree, so they don't get paid. There is some companies like to give a stipend to support their travel and their food expenses, but they don't get paid. Some students do get part-time jobs while they're studying to help them, but we find that that's difficult, and often because they're breadwinners and having to support families, students sometimes see that as, oh, that's a job, I'm earning money, I can leave and carry on working. But it's really about getting students to see the value of holding on and getting a degree at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. But another big part is around the self-development, and it's around leadership skills and understanding who you are and where you come from and how do you deal with issues that are very personal. And that has a big impact also in the workplace and getting out there, because until you know who you are and can deal with stress and see the bigger picture, then you can't grasp terms and accounts and finance and be in a normal environment.
Can you be a little more specific on what type of leadership skills that you're training students with?
We're looking at different leadership strategies, but also things like responsibility, integrity, taking initiative, communication skills, thinking innovatively, being system savvy. So they do something called a portfolio of learning, where they say how have these things and these values influenced my life over the year, and when I go out into a company, and teamwork and communication. So there are a number of things which are actually built into the curriculum. And so leadership is also around taking control of when you're going out into a community, and how do you teach and how do you learn and help people grow along the way, and being involved in the classroom and working with other students. We bring in role models and hero speakers. So we bring in leaders who come in and talk to the students about their life and their learnings and stories, and so students can really see how other people have been there before and done it. So it's real examples back into the classroom.
What is your vision for the university? Do you want to replicate this?
Absolutely. So one of my main roles is to see how we can take the TSiBA model and similar initiatives and create access to education and entrepreneurs for the rest of South Africa and Africa and elsewhere. So if we can really, rather than creating one big center right here, rather create smaller centers of excellence that can create access in rural and other communities, and they can always move through into the degree programs. So we already have replicated successfully in Eden. We have a campus called TSiBA Eden in Karatu and Knysna, and there we have a strong focus on green business and entrepreneurship. And that's been a wonderful way to see how the model works in a rural environment where the students live on campus and grow food and provide back to the community. And more we're seeing interest from smaller communities, and they're saying, we need this and we want this here. And we believe it's around having people on the ground that are going to be the drivers. We can't go into a community and say, you need this. It's around people that come forward to make it work. And we've got already governments from other African countries who have signed agreements with us for us to take that model there. And we're looking to open one of those next year already.
Very exciting. So sustainability is key.
Absolutely.
What has been the most significant impact at your long life of 30 years do you think you've made so far?
I think the biggest impact is around, seeing myself as someone who's concerned about giving back and creating, a diverse group of students that are going to become job creators and not job seekers, and creating an institution that we had, as I was saying, no precedent to rely upon, but that is entrepreneurial, and now having thousands of people have access to skills and a community of people that they see as their home and where they can grow and learn and develop.